Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dee Roussel, and we're going to be talking about the 23 books that I want to read in 2023. So these books are in no particular order. I came up with this list over the course of a couple of weeks, and so I just want to commit myself to some of these books, and I'll go into the reasonings why. The first book on this list is Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson. I don't know how I have survived this long without reading a book of hers. She's won so many awards for her writing, and this is just a short book of poetry that I've had for about 5 years, and I haven't picked it up yet. So I'm gonna try to prioritize this in 2023 just to finally say that I've read a Jacqueline Woodson book, and I'm hoping that I will really enjoy it. The next book that I want to prioritize in 2023 is called The Street by Anne Petrie. I actually didn't know that this book existed until Bree from Locked Fiction chose it for her book club reading classics, and I didn't actually read it with them because I didn't have the time. So I'm hoping that I can get to it this year. From what I did read of it, the first few pages, I think I'm really going to enjoy this author's writing, and they're coming out with more books with this cover, which I really like the cover. I think it's really pretty. So yeah, I'm excited to read this. The next book that I want to read is Queen of the Conquered by Kacen Callender. I've heard very mixed things on this book. I feel like I'm gonna like it. I think it's a morally gray female main character with this kingdom or queendom, but that's about the extent of what I know about it. But I bought this book when it first came out, and I still haven't read it. So yeah, that's why this is on this list. The next book that I have is Parable of the Talents by Octavia E. Butler. I'm slowly making my way through Octavia's backlist. I read the first book of this, which I really enjoyed, but I never continued, which I have a bad problem of in general with series. So I'm hoping I can get to this book, and I want to say there's a third one that was never that never came out, but I think there's somewhere that you could read read something about it. So I don't know, but I'm really excited to read this, and I'm hoping that I like it just as much as the first one. Then we have Lightning Wears a Cape by Eric Nunnally. I saw this book, I don't even know where I saw this book though, but it was years ago. But I bought this book I don't even know, was it the summer or something? I don't know. I bought it somewhere this year because it's about this Black superhero. And I'm not usually into superheroes, but when I was in high school, I read Brandon Sanderson's Steelheart series, The Reckoners, I think that's what the series is called, and I really enjoyed it. I'm hoping this will be another superhero book that I like, but with a Black character, and yeah, it's not too long, so yeah. Then I have Across a Broken Tie by Lakeis Kusuno. This is a historical fantasy, I'm pretty sure. I don't really know much about it besides that. I wanted to support the author, so I am hoping to get to this year, leave a review, and I just have a feeling I'm gonna love it because I love historical fiction, I love fantasy. So yeah, there is this book. The next book that is on this list is The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. I have read the first season twice in hopes that I would continue with the trilogy, and I haven't. And I don't know why, because I absolutely love the first book. It is literally the book that made me a stan of N.K. Jemisin. And I don't know. I don't know why I haven't continued this. So this is why this is on this list. And I heard that this is everybody's favorite out of the trilogy. So yeah, I am very hopeful. I do want to reread the first one again just because I love it so much and then continue on with this. But yeah, this is probably one of the top ones I have to read next year. The next book that I have is 25Z Time and Salvation by Jason Michael Penrose. And this is a thick book that I was supposed to get to this year because I was so excited to read it. And I before I bought it, I tried the sample on Kindle, and I saw all these amazing illustrations, and I was really getting invested in the story. So I was just let me pick this up, and I never got to it. Partly because I'm intimidated by tomes, but also because I just didn't prioritize it. I'm hoping I can read this next year because I don't know, I just love this cover. I just feel like I'm gonna love the story, and I'm not thinking that it's going to have pacing problems like I usually have with tones, because it started off with just action. So yeah, I'm excited to try this. I'm going to go into the books that I don't have quite yet, or they're like an e-copy that I have. So yeah, the first book is The EO's Key by D.M. Lowry. Yes, I think that's the name. I have been hearing nothing but great things about this book from Books with Brandie and Bree from Bree Cherie Reads. I don't know why I keep blanking on people's names, but they have loved this book. They compare it to Vampire Diaries. But yeah, I'm going to read The EO's Key, and I'm hoping I enjoy it as much as they did. Then I have The Final Strife, and everybody has been loving this book. I saw the release of the second book's cover, and I have been, I don't know, I just want to jump onto this hype train. I'm hoping I like it. I'm not sure what I'm gonna think of it, but I'm just really hoping that I enjoy it. Then I have TJ Young and the Eurecias, and I think the first book is called The Gatekeeper's Secret or Staff or something like that. And I have heard great things about the series from people that I've known who read it, and I am really into middle grade right now. I haven't read a lot of middle grade this last year, but I do find it like super cute, so I do want to try this one. And it is following this young black boy who gets involved into the Eurecias. So I heard it's like the black version or the Nigerian version of Percy Jackson. So yeah, I'm intrigued enough to read it. My library has an audio copy of it, but it's also on Kindle Unlimited, so I was just gonna try it. Then I have Exiled by Jessica Cage. I feel like I've read a book by Jessica Cage before, but I'm not even sure. But I accidentally bought this book on Amazon. I meant to click download a sample, and then I accidentally bought it. And then I was just like, I don't want to go through the hassle of trying to get the book back, so I just kept it. It was only like $3, so I was just like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. This is a werewolf series. It's a romance, I'm pretty sure, and I don't know much else about it. And then I have the Divide series, War, and I've had this book for years on my Kindle, but I have not read it yet. And this is a epic fantasy, I want to say, with an all-black cast, but other than that, I don't know anything about it. What really drew me was the cover. I like the purples and the whites and stuff with it, and the black girl on the cover. It doesn't look like the traditional fantasy covers that we would see, but I don't know, something really just drew me to the cover, so I signed up for a free copy, and I still haven't read it, so yeah. And then one of my most anticipated books for the end of this year, but I know I'm not going to get to it before the year is up, and this book is The Fall of Souls, and I'm so excited for this book. Like, I love the cover. I love like the excerpts that the author is sharing on Instagram, and I just love that it's Egyptian mythology with an all-black cast, and it's going to be a fantasy romance. I just feel like this is going to be one of my 5-star reads for the beginning of this year. So as soon as that physical copy gets up on Amazon or wherever the author is selling it, I'm buying a copy, and I am going to read the heck out of this book. Then I have Darknesses. I was supposed to read this book for Black and Weenathon in October, but like we know, I don't stick to TBRs, so I did not get to this book, and it's actually a tome, which I did not know before I put it on my TBR, but I am hoping to read this. I heard it's like a sapphic, vampire, gothic story, so that sounds like a really good like mix for me to read. So, and then I have The Given by Kobe R. Rice. I honestly, I don't know much about this book either. It looks kind of creepy. I think like the second book has like the creepiest cover, and I think it's a duology, but I'm thinking it's like apocalyptic and it's a fantasy by a Black author, so I was like, yeah, let me just put it on this list. And then I have a sci-fi called Kristan Kingdom, and I'm not a big fan of the first book's cover, but it's like a space opera, so I was just like, okay, yeah. And I honestly didn't even know that it was by a Black author until I saw it on Written in Melanin, and I don't know, just like the space opera sci-fi vibes. Like, I've been really trying to find more Black sci-fi, so I am hoping to read that next year. And then we have The Sea-Bearing Prince, and if I'm remembering this right, this is also an epic fantasy by a Black author, and I feel like it's gonna be like a lot of battle scenes and stuff. So when I'm in the epic fantasy mood, I feel like I'm going to really enjoy this. But I don't think it's as long as a lot of other epic fantasy, so maybe it's not an epic fantasy, it's just a fantasy. And then I have The Best of All Possible Worlds, and this is purely because I keep seeing it on Angela's channel from Literature Science Alliance, and she just loves this author, and so I figured I would try this one because this one is the one that sounded the most interesting to me. It's another like, well, I don't want to call it like a Black sci-fi. I think it's more like a genre blender. But this author's a Caribbean author, and I don't know. I'm just really hoping that I really enjoy this author's work. A romance on this list that I have is Real by Kennedy Ryan. I've been wanting to try a Kennedy Ryan book because I've been hearing that like she takes you on an emotional roller coaster, and from what I've really discovered about the romances that I like I love to have like that emotional tug to it, not necessarily the physical intimacy. Like I don't really care about the spiciness of romance novels, but I like that emotional journey that characters have. And from what I hear about Real and about Kennedy Ryan's writing, like she just like makes people cry and all of that. So I figured I would start with this book by her because I don't know, there's just something about it that I'm just like, this just sounds like it's going to be so beautiful, but not like too cheesy. So yeah. Then I have Lion's Blood by Stephen Barnes, and this book is actually a historical fantasy, or an alternate historical fantasy, where basically they imagine that Black people are the ones that enslave white people, which I really don't know how I'm going to feel about this, because I don't know how I feel about Black people being like the bad people, but I trust this author to handle it with grace. I'm still a little skeptical, but I do trust this author. So skeptical, but still going to read it. And then I have When Shadows Fall. I read a short story by this author in Girls of Might and Magic. Overall, I didn't really like that short story collection, but I really did like the author's story, which I don't even remember the name of. So I wanted to try like her own like fantasy novel just to see like how it would, like how I would like it. And I really like the cover of this one, and so I chose this one to read, and yeah, I'm hoping that I really enjoy it. Last but not least, I wanted to read another classic, but by a Nigerian author, and this is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. I've heard nothing but great things about Chinua Achebe's writing, and so I have a collection of 3 of his works. I don't know if I'm going to read all of them, but I do want to commit myself to reading Things Fall Apart, which I hear the most about. But that wraps up the 23 books that I want to read in 2023. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Please let me know if any of these sound interesting to you, and if you don't want to comment any of that, please leave a snowflake for, I don't know, January. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.